Welcome back. Now to the story of one woman's near miraculous recovery from a mystery illness that brought her 8 years of sheer hell. Joy Anthony lived a full and active life, but she all but gave up on her future after ME robbed her quite literally of the energy to live. By sheer luck, just as dramatically, her fortunes have again changed. Kevin Owen went along to meet her.
When you meet Joy Anthony, who lives with her husband in Greville, you meet a bright, articulate woman who immediately belies her 71 years. It's hard to imagine that until just over 2 months ago, at times she barely had the energy to make a cup of tea. Her reserves so weak, this scooter provided the main way for her to get round. Such was the profound effect the mystery illness had on her since it struck one day back in 1994.
I was very busy. I was always on committees. I don't think I belonged to anything that I wasn't on the committee of, and usually an officer. I was on the bench. Because I was a senior lady, I was usually in the chair, well, always, in the last 10 or so years.
But all that had to stop almost overnight. ME, a condition that even now some doctors don't automatically accept exists, put pay to it.
I probably couldn't even have walked into court because my walking was so slow and unsteady. I couldn't speak clearly, and as chairman of the bench, even on the side, you have to be able to speak clearly. I couldn't keep my head up. You can't sit on the bench with your eyes shut and your head flat on the bench. It's not on. I had no energy. I was completely debilitated. I couldn't enjoy myself. If friends rang up, about 3 minutes was all I could take. I was exhausted, and then some of the time my speech wasn't clear. I sounded as if I was drunk. I walked as if I was sleepwalking. Some of the time, when I was sitting, always sitting, I didn't know whether my eyes were open or shut. I couldn't read because I couldn't concentrate. Life stopped.
Test after test for what was causing her ME proved negative. One of them, the standard test on her thyroid using a blood sample, indicated that there was nothing wrong. The days turned into weeks, the months into years, but the intense exhaustion remained. This picture shows just what accomplishing even a simple task like a short walk could mean. It seemed modern medicine, no matter how advanced, couldn't properly diagnose what was wrong. She joined the Jersey ME support group, which gave some support, but privately wrote this poem about how desperate she felt.
Pull yourself together. No one says that to me, but I think they think it. I say it to me, but I can't. I've nothing to pull with. The strings are cut. My head won't do its work. It's not in the pilot's seat, can't take command. My legs will work, but my head won't let them get on with it. I am in there somewhere. Somewhere there is still me, but ME is in control.
And the lack of a meaningful diagnosis was proving almost as hard to bear.
You rule out a lot of other things. You rule out anemia. You rule out tropical diseases. You rule out thyroid malfunction. And I had blood tests several times to rule that out. And they all came back normal.
But just a few months ago, a chance breakthrough was to come. Desperate to find out the cause of her illness, she'd heard of pioneering tests being carried out in Holland by a laboratory that tested urine instead of blood. Although only a pilot study, she thought she'd nothing to lose. The answer she got back, she couldn't believe. It picked up a thyroid deficiency that the standard blood test hadn't.
It was fantastic to have something provably wrong. Because when you keep having tests and they all say you're normal, and you know jolly well you're not normal, it's very distressing. You feel as if you're being an idiot. But this was provably wrong. The readings were about as low as they could be, and I was over the moon, and my doctor was over the moon.
As a result of that new test, Joy was immediately prescribed regular thyroid treatment. But her greatest surprise was yet to come.
though I wasn't feeling terribly well, I buggied into the village and got the pills and buggied back again. And I was exhausted because it was a horrid day. It was wet and windy and I felt dreadful. I took the pills straight away, 1.5 teeny-weeny little pills. And I didn't expect anything. I was told possibly a bit better after 2 months. 2 hours after I took those pills, it just rolled away. I felt it go. I was standing up and it rolled off me, came out of my head, as it were. It was the most wonderful feeling. Sorry, but it affects me.
Joy's keen to point out that her particular cause of ME and the way it was undetected may not be applicable to anyone else. Nevertheless, she's now calling for more research into the Dutch procedure that's not yet available here in Jersey or in the UK.
I want people to know about this test. It's just possible that I'm the only person in the world who will benefit, but I somehow don't think that's true. But if they don't know about the test, they can't take it. And I know they're not going to know about it from conventional medicine because you're not told. But even if it is only one other person, it's a life saved. It's a life given back. You've got no life when you've got ME. No life at all. It's appalling, even well supported, which I have been. It's awful. Some people are on their own, and it's grim.
Well, marvellous news there for Joy.